Warhammer 40K, Rogue Trader, episode 4. I'm gonna do something. I've done it once before. Twitch doesn't like it when I do this. Some say it's against the rules. Some have bigger than me. Others have smaller than me. I think it's a considerable size, worthy of admiration. I'm just gonna go ahead and whip out my sack on stream. We're just gonna go ahead and do it. This brand new dice sack that I just got. This is all the dice that I own in one convenient location, and that's it. Now I understand, you know, some of the Warhammer players obviously gonna have a bigger sack than me. That's just how it works out, you know.
It depends if you play Tyranid or not.
Some D&D players, maybe they have a smaller. It's okay. No one is judging it by the size of your sack, unless they're a Shadowrun player.
And Pondo, it's if they play orcs or not. That's the
Orcs or Tyranids. It's either
or Tau.
Everyone knows orcs and Tyranids are basically the same thing.
I mean, I have a you know, a decent sized sack, but I also have very large die inside said sack. So
very well, we got it. Every female member of the audience has left at this point, so welcome, gentlemen. James, I want to open up by, you know, letting you do your intro. I believe you were also going to say something to the audience about rules.
Oh, so we'll start early. Okay, so first off, thank you, Arthur. I am Grimdark James, the Grimdark Podcast. Your GM for today. It's as you rightly pointed out, we got some comments on some messed up rules on YouTube. Unfortunately, YouTube's algorithm decided to hide them from the rest of the world because somebody used a cuss word. But certainly,
I mean, I can see it. I don't know why no one else can see it.
Yeah, well, it's because it's your video, probably.
All right,
but
that could be it.
Yeah. So the main thing was there that messed up part of the acquisition side of things because, for one, rather than book diving, I was using an Excel sheet which has all the equipment from all the various books combined, and it had a 4-sword listed as very rare as opposed to near unique. And I want to also thank the person because they did point me to the right page. I was trying to remember where the sidebar was about unique and near unique. I couldn't remember whether near unique was an issue with scale.
I'm going to cut in here
to the right page,
James, and say, you know, I really appreciate that. You got, well, I don't think you could say anything you want, but if you provide page references, it's a hell of a lot easier for me. If you don't provide page references for your rules, I'll ignore it, whether it's a nice comment or not.
Yeah.
That's all I ask. It's all I ask. Minimum level. All right, James. Still your intro.
The other thing that's worth pointing out this week is that Wrath and Glory was updated. So first off, they had a pre-order for the hard copy book, which is still probably several months away. But if you ordered the pre-order, you got access to the PDF straight away. And if you already had the PDF of the old Wrath and Glory, the new one's updated. So, I mean, we spoke about this at the end of the last show, certainly, that we had some concerns about the combat system, and that appears to be basically unchanged. The majority of changes in the book have been to do with character creation, I guess creating some more flexibility with the archetypes and sort of reworking the way they work. And in fact, a lot of people point out that some rules have actually been pulled out of the book. So the rules for vehicle combat and spaceship combat are no longer in the new Wrath and Glory, for example. No references to regroups actions anymore to get back shock. Shock is handled a little bit differently when it comes to taking wounds. But overall, it's mainly just a cleanup. But what I will say is that, as I want to say, I predicted, Arthur, was that the moment the PDF came out, there were people on the Wrath and Glory Facebook page saying, hey, where can we see this stuff being streamed? We really want to see some people playing this game online. So certainly I linked both the Dark Inquisition playlist as well as Margaret Coldplay's game that Eric Vulgaris was in.
Yeah, Unsung Fury.
That's it. So I'll be interested to see if there are some more hits on those videos based upon the fact that people were actively looking for streams to go and watch.
I can provide you with the answer to that. The answer is no.
This is like 24 hours ago, mate. Come on. give people a chance.
Okay. All right. The answer to that is still no.
Okay, no worries.
I mean, Rogue Trader is above any of the other Warhammer 40K stuff. So
Yeah. So yeah, I think last week I was mentioning this game, the Road Trader game, on my Facebook page, and I decided to do like a paid, $25 thing to try and promote it, and I think it got like 5 link clicks. So I think Facebook's algorithm, how it distributed that's not that great. It's probably friends of my friends, so probably lots of people's parents or siblings have ever got a Warhammer ad and thought, what the hell is this?
I'm sorry you did that.
But yeah, that's been otherwise it's just been a week of staying at home, painting models, doing work, washed 2 cars yesterday. So otherwise, and I ran Battletech last night. I finished off my big 2-map Battletech game last night. So
how'd that work out?
Players, it went really well. The players sort of like, I think every single mech they own is badly damaged, low on ammo, low on armor. So it really did, and it was sort of like a bit of a season-ending battle. So it really did push them right to the edge for the end of the season. But no, it was. I did record it too, so I'll probably throw it up later on onto the Discord group as well, just for people that want to see how that battle ended off. But otherwise, yeah, good end to the that little story arc. Like your players, they did say that they probably, while it was fun to do company on company, they'd rather go back to smaller games going forward.
Damn it. Actually, I really want to have a good company on company or larger combat at some time. I mean, because I've been in discussion with you, like, how can I run larger games? I liked Alpha Strike, but I can't sell Rad, which means I can't sell Sid and Pondo on it. They don't want to have a whole swath of dead mechs everywhere. Every mech dead. 2 contenders walk out at the end. All of the pilots killed.
I mean, pilot ejection, or is just if the mech dies, you die?
What did I do?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's Rad. It's what Rad did. Rad doesn't want to see bodies stacked like cordwood.
I think I said to you before, it comes down to making it an Alpha Strike battle, not about the results as far as the mechs go. So not saying, okay, here guys, this is your unit of mechs, and they'll get wiped out, so you've only got 2 mechs to go forward with the next part of the campaign. It's more like there is this major battle where all these mechs are just this armies versus this armies, and you run that battle, and the outcome is more important than what happens to each individual mech or pilot. They're just nameless people that are being fought in this war.
I could see it used for a last combat situation where you want to get it kind of going through.
Like, say, Operation Bulldog.
Yeah.
Damn, Operation
Then
Bulldog.
You go into the next season.
If only Operation Bulldog was some sort of super cool YouTube campaign that you could watch the 4th season of. That's all I got. James, you got anything else?
No, I've monopolized the time. I should let someone else speak now.
The order on the other thing. I'm going to try to do this without switching back. Pondo is next. Let's go with that.
I haven't really done much this week. We did Battletech, and it's a thing.
We did 7 Wonders.
Oh, that is true.
I like 7 Wonders. It was great.
Kind of did 7 Wonders.
Well, we were 25 minutes late, but that's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to play it again in 2 weeks, and that time we'll have 4 full hours, so we'll get like 1 game in. Pondo's the only one who could have laughed at that, and he didn't, and that really hurts. It hurts badly.
I mean, what'd you expect from Pondo?
Listen, there are jokes that I have made that Pondo has laughed at, I think. I can't come up with one, but I'm pretty sure they exist.
It wasn't just a very lucid, like, fever dream or something? Like, are you sure about that?
I've been tinkering with Battle Scribe again. That's about it. Looking up Salamander stuff and seeing how inadequate flamers are in comparison to the game.
I was so disappointed with Salamanders. I bought the new book when it came out, and I'm like, I'm going to do it. All Salamanders, all Primaris army that plays on these rules, and I realized, oh shit, nothing Primaris gets flamers pretty much.
Yeah, I've been looking through Primaris. I haven't looked in Primaris at all, and I was like, these don't have very many options.
Yeah, aggressors pretty much. Aggressors and dreadnoughts.
Flamestorm as far as the eye can see.
Well, it's this flamestorm. Well, I guess flamestorm is a flamer, but
It is. It's just the heavier
is it
flamers.
12-inch range?
8.
Is it 8-inch? That's still. It's like a 5 movement mech that can't deep strike. I'm gonna get something within 8 inches, and that's kind of.
Yeah.
And the idea of those is that you don't want to move, right? Because they shoot twice.
Yeah, this was the old
Yeah,
trick
they're-
before they nerfed it, where you could get Raven Guard to deep strike in with a squad of 6 aggressors with Bolt Storm Gauntlets and the Reaper launchers and get 72 plus 36 d6 attacks in the first round of combat.
I thought you could still do that. You just couldn't do it with the Centurions.
20. Still do
You
Centurions.
They nerfed it to where you couldn't do the Warlord trait for the Centurions for the Raven Guard.
Yeah. Oh, I think also that with their forward observers thing now, it counts as a move, not a deployment.
Oh, okay.
From memory, I don't play Raven Guard, so
Well, it's you have to be an edgelord for that, and then it's kind of. Anyway, yeah, not too excited about the salamanders. They're kind of
If you get a paint green,
yeah.
which is a pain in the ass.
And +1 wound on Meltas for 2 rounds. That's interesting. So you get a whole group of devastators. They'll die in a sneeze.
Well, you don't use devastators for stuff like that. Just like why? You just put las cannons on them.
The initial plan is to have them come in on round 2 with a drop pod
Yeah.
and have them shoot fire with the lieutenant and captain nearby.
I think you're just better off keeping them at range, honestly, just putting las cannons on everything.
the only problem now is with the changes to the rules where you can't avoid changing our Devastator Doctrine until as soon as round 2 hits, you're now in Tactical Doctrine. You lose a lot of the benefit of you lose 1 AP anyway when you're in the second round.
Well, no, it's Meltas are assault weapons, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's
So
right.
they actually get the tactical doctrine 1 -1 AP, and then plus their +1 to wound for the.
It was melter guns, yeah, not multi melters, but melter guns, yeah, or assault.
Yeah.
Is multi meltas not included in melta guns?
Multi melters are heavy.
Yeah, they're heavy weapons. Just like.
Fair enough. Well, it's already AP -4, so it's not that. Regardless,
Yeah.
that's been in my past couple days.
Yeah. Devastators are like the one unit that keeps being brought in Primaris armies because you have nothing else that does their job.
Well, they don't only have any heavy weapons. So.
Well, that's their whole thing is they're heavy weapon specialists. It's their job, but there's not a Primaris equivalent. So
I think we're boring, chat. I'm looking at chat here.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Pondo?
No, I don't got anything else.
Bid Alpha.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just over here reading through Astropath skills.
I'll tell you, I was just reading through the demolition skill because I didn't have it, and I thought, wow, you have to. I guess it's got to be like some other class must be good at it. Nope. Turns out Arch-Militants get it at like rank 4.
Oh, good Lord.
So if you want to blow up buildings or I guess tanks with explosives, you have to wait a long time. For some reason, I would have thought like engine seers would have started with it or something, but I don't know. I guess
Yeah,
like
it sounds
nobody
like that
gets
would make sense.
demolitions.
really,
And the thing is, the skill is basically, it's untyped. It's basically just like, do whatever you want with your imagination. Just tell your game master what size explosion you want. He'll tell you the difficulty, and then you roll. If you fail by 4 degrees of success, you kill yourself.
Awesome.
yeah,
Sounds like something that I should never try.
I am absolutely going to get it as soon as it's available.
yeah, it's one of those things. Like it's why they.
First thing he's going to do is wire up my room with a bunch of explosives.
put it on your back.
I mean, yeah, it's more likely I would wire you up with a bunch of explosives.
I'm gonna need you to wear this collar
At all
attached to this
times.
backpack
Got
at
you
all
in-
times.
If
got
there's
you a
any warp
new hat.
fuckery, I'm just gonna push a button.
It's one of the reasons why I think they ditched the rank thing, because it's kind of rough. So a lot of that stuff doesn't make sense.
They also changed the skill list substantially over time. Like, for example, Rogue Trader was the last game system that had demolitions in it. Later on, with Death Watch, it moved to being a part of tech use.
Yeah.
Like the original first edition Dark Heresy had acrobatics and swimming and climbing, and then Rogue Trader put it all into athletics, for example.
Yeah.
So they did over time reduce the skill list. But yeah.
So yeah, I don't have much of an intro. I'm just over here trying to figure out how to spend my XP. Because my
Fair
week
enough.
has been a uneventful one. Extremely uneventful. Boringly uneventful.
You know, it's a good time to be uneventful.
It is.
I'll go out on a limb and just say it.
I've been exercising, so that's good. But that's not really entertaining, you know.
You get a video out?
Did I stop dying finally? Yeah, I'm back up to full speed. So feeling good, exercising every day. I enjoy not being sick. It's a wonderful thing to not be sick. So thank you, Zolomar, for asking. I appreciate that.
Okay. Atomic, what do you got?
I finished building all my shelves for my workbench. So it was fun. There's a lot of wood glue and whatever, and reminded me why I hate working with wood over metal, but it is what it is. So I got those made and realized that I'm like too short. I forgot to order another 2 of them, so that's fun. So I got to buy those, wait for that to come in, do that, and it's just been slow, man. There's just nothing been going on. Doctor's appointments and then going straight back home. That's about it. It's just been one of those weeks.
Okay. Talk us in, James. I know you're
Okay.
gonna do a re-intro sequence, and you're gonna do a thought of the day, but don't worry, I've prepared a personal re-intro sequence in character once again.
Okay, no worries. So, Rogue Trader, the Last Scion, episode 4, Forsaken. We see previously on the Last Scion, the group steps onto the longshore for the first time of Footfall. We see a servo skull projecting an image of Liege Moros inviting Pierre and Garth and their retainers to an event at the Liege's court. We see Nero dictating communications to Garth. We see the group discussing key topics with the nobility of Footfall, while Nero walks past in the background with a plate of food. And then finally, a montage of scenes of criminals being gunned down in the halls before it fades to black. Then we see thought for the day: foolish are those who fear nothing, yet claim to know everything. So let's come in on what you wanted to do, Arthur.
Okay.
Your scene.
I want you to imagine the outside of Pierre has an estate here, right? There's a Cowles estate on Footfall.
It's nowhere near the scope of what was on.
That's
so
okay. Yeah, I understand. I want you to imagine Nero and Oswald in oversized sweatshirts that say Tactica. No sleeves. Sleeves have been cut off. Sweatpants, oversized again, pulled tight at the draw waist. Again, cut down to just short level. And they are going through 1980s calisthenics to the soundtrack of Take On Me. I mean, we're talking, running in place, high knee marches, lots of like, ha, ha. Yeah, there's a whole exercise workout regimen. And then at the end of it, Nero comes in with a sweaty rainbow headband and says, "Lord Captain, I have a report."
All right.
Is that breakfast?
Yes,
May I join you?
absolutely.
All right, he sits down and just vacuum cleaners food into. Oh. Lord
Yes.
Captain, just to fill you in, we arrived on Footfall and were observed by a untyped alien who I chased off.
Uh-huh.
We met with Tantas Moros, the somewhat semi-illegitimate liege of Footfall, and were invited to a party. I acquired a conveyance through use of my personal charisma and wits. We went on a tour and did some shopping, and we had a party where you allied with Charmelin again. I should probably wink when I
Right.
said wink, Lord Captain. We learned about an auction being held today by the Obsidian Emporium, having 9 seats for the foretelling of the 9 witches. I then hunted down 10 criminal lords, and the rest of the party followed me just to have something to do, or because they didn't want to be alone, or... Well, I don't know. I've just killed them. Not you, obviously. Them. And that catches us up. That was the last 24 hours.
Yes.
Now, Lord Captain, I know that we went shopping yesterday and we weren't able to find the item that I was looking for. But sometime today, I'm going to go shopping again before the auction, where I will be delivering a bid privately for myself.
Very well.
I will correct, by the way, it's the 7 witches, not the 9 witches.
My bad. My bad.
9 seats, 7 witches.
I'll update my notes then.
Do you wish me to be there to help you?
With the item acquirement,
Yes.
Lord Captain, if you would accompany me, I would appreciate it, but I would never ask you to take time out of your busy schedule. I'm sure you have various things to do, like acquire as many crew members as possible, figure out transportation, perhaps through Charmelin or some other conveyance that will take us to the Hand of Calixis. Your cape has been looking rather ragged. Perhaps you could use a new one.
I can always find a new one while we're out.
Of course. If you were to accompany me, Lord Captain, I would be filled with joy.
Absolutely.
So, Garth, you have actually this morning received a communication from the Astropathic Chamber on Footfall to let you know about a message being received from Port Wanda. So you have basically that they sent you that message that I sent to you, and that's been received. So it's up to you what you want to do with that.
Hmm. Nero was off doing something, right?
I'm
I
at
was
breakfast.
talking to Pierre.
Well, I don't really see any need to hide any of this from him, so I will notate it to the best of my ability, and I'll kind of, as I slump into a chair, kind of toss it over in front of him. You received your response.
I'm going to toss him like I'm going to slide down the table a mimosa that I'd prepared on the assumption he would arrive at some point.
Oh, well, thank you.
I check this document. What does it say?
Okay, well, so I sent it to Sid.
Yeah. Does it say Isrin has been shot in the head and is no longer capable of replying to anything?
I've dropped it into the general Discord chat there. So.
Please accept my heartfelt thanks for your timely and verbose communication.
No,
Rest
wait, we never sent that message. Do you remember? We agreed that
Oh,
we...
that's right. No,
Yeah,
didn't,
we agreed that
because
we
I talked
weren't
you out of
sending
it.
that message. I even referenced it at the party and said, "Oh yes, like Garth has been teaching me patience, Lord Captain."
I thought there was 2 things. I thought you were still sending that this is just what we're doing today.
No,
I never sent it.
Yeah, we did just send the one message. That's right.
Garth told me to rethink my actions, and he convinced me, and I said, "You know what? I am gonna rethink my actions."
Yeah, okay.
My bad.
Sorry. Because there was one message. So there were the 2 messages.
The first message was to Isrin, our former navigator, asking him to explain to me what Station 13 was immediately at all
okay.
haste.
Okay, no worries. Well, so then there's not been a response to that one yet. Then
Okay.
No, sorry. Yep.
Trying to die unnecessarily. Oh my god. It makes me feel bad that we didn't send this message. She even addressed it as Dearest Nero.
In a sideways universe, that's the communication that happened.
Yeah, don't worry. Listen, now I'm hyped to know what exactly my message down the line will be to be worthy of such a reply.
See, that's the problem with text versus verbal. You know, it kind of, you know, it gets lost in translation. So it was probably like, "Oh, Nero, dearest Nero," and
All right, I apologize.
I look at the message and I go, "There's nothing on this, Garth." Totally blank.
That's all right. There's no alcohol in this mimosa, so.
That's the problem. He's not. Alcohol is like his coffee. If he doesn't have it right away, he doesn't function.
From over his shoulder, there's just a little mechadendrite with a shot of Amasec that's just like...
It's like, don't even look. Just hold up the glass.
I mean, you know, you laugh, but like even like some of the best general, like I know Creed, his whole thing was he would wake up in the morning and his wake up was he didn't drink caffeine, but he would wake up and have a shot of whiskey. That was his thing. So, you know.
Gentlemen.
All right, so you have some things you want to do before the auction that night.
Yes. Do any of you have things that you would like to do on today's schedule? I like to keep track of all of your activities just in case I'm required to cavalry in and save you. And I'm, of course, attempting to keep track of any particular threats to the Lord Captain. You might remember that I've been looking for the whereabouts and location of Janko Scourge. An Inquisitor within 10 billion light years. I'd love to know where they are. They've been paying way too much attention to us.
I do have something I need to try and acquire.
Well, we were going on a shopping trip. Would you like to come with us, Cyrax?
Indeed, I would.
I wanted to have a short conversation with you in private, actually. I had a question about a previous encounter I recently remembered.
I'm sure the tale will be riveting.
Well, someone got drilled in the process, so yes.
Are you making this a sexual thing, or do you mean a physical power
there
tool?
was, it was, there were lasgun bolts involved, not what you're thinking of.
Very well. It's great that you can't see his face, because...
I would never make it a sexual thing. That's not a thing that I do.
Flashes back to his attempts of trying to get
yes,
the captain
but
a mate.
each time in character, Nero, that was me, not Nero. Garth, is there any shopping you'd like to get done, or any activities today that I'll need to keep track of, just in case, again, we need to save you?
I do need to pick up that sword.
Oh yes, your power sword.
Or sword.
Yo, yes,
Or
yes.
sword.
Whichever. I don't know much about such paltry conveyances of death. You might not know this, but I'm not particularly good at fighting.
Civilized than a heavy bolsa.
Cyrax is offended, starts swinging around his power axe. It's like,
Yeah.
heard you were talking shit.
I apologize. I'm just not very good at melee combat. I prefer to kill someone from a distance.
As do I, but I also sometimes like to see the fear in their eyes.
I prefer to kill them at a distance as well, but if they manage to get in close, I prefer to have something a bit more capable of bisecting them.
Cue the montage of Cyrax teaching Sid how to fight dirty. I learned this from the Catachan. You kick them right in the groin. Works every time.
Master Kiosk, are you around here somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Can you prepare us a lunch to go? Some sort of like picnic basket? I was thinking maybe like egg sandwiches. I can't eat them if they're sliced diagonally though. We need, you know, halfway, not diagonal. Understand?
Yes.
I'm
There aren't
amazed
many
that you would be
eggs
picky
on foot
about
four.
how your
I'll-
sandwiches are cut.
Have to go to market if you want eggs.
No, it's not eggs specifically. You understand what I'm saying, right? Like some form of easy to eat sandwich that will keep for the afternoon that we can put in a basket and bring with us.
Ah, very good, sir. Yes, if you give me 15 minutes, I'll have something prepared.
Excellent. Thank you, Master Kiosk.
He toddles off to go do that.
Nero turns towards Garth and says, "It's not that I'm picky, it's just that I like to make Samuel L. Jackson references."
I see.
Who?
On my homeworld, he was very famous.
I believe he was an Arch-Militant.
Yes, we don't like to use that word. You'll notice I've never used it to describe myself.
There might be existing hollow footage of him from the second millennium. Very talented individual.
If you'll all excuse me, if we have 15 minutes to kill, I need to speak with Sister about... And then he just stands up without finishing his sentence.
All right, so you find Sister
Shaking my
Miriam
head
in her
at him as he
chambers,
walks away.
making some notes.
Sister Miriam,
Ah, yes, Nero. What can I do for you today?
I was hoping that I could speak with you about spiritual purity.
Very well.
I find myself in need of counseling, or at least calming the storm of my mind.
Sit, please. She indicates towards a stool in her room.
We only have 15 minutes, so I mean, we don't have to do this whole thing now. I just wanted to say that, like, you know, if I could get you on the hook for future sessions or something like that.
Oh, yes, well, I am happy to make the spiritual purity of the Lord Captain and his confidants part of my mission while I'm here, so it's...
Yes, I would like you to have something to do while you're here, yes.
Trust me, I have work that I bought from abroad as well, but certainly you need only ask, Nero, and I will happily guide you through whatever issue it is you're experiencing.
Recently, I've been thinking that someone is trying to kill the Lord Captain, and maybe I should just eliminate all of his enemies now, immediately, with bolter fire. Ever since that party, I've been feeling it intensely, like very intensely. And I felt a little bit better after I boltered down a bunch of his enemies, but now I'm like, I would hate to kill someone accidentally. That was useful.
Well,
I mean, how much do we really know about Kiosk anyway?
Kios, he, as far as I know, he is simply a manservant of the Cowles household.
Yes, but
I understand
what
he
if he's
raised-
an enemy of the Cowles household? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm trying not to. I'm not very good at investigating these things. It turns out most of the time when I'm investigating, people end up dead. Although that's mostly because they're guilty of very serious crimes.
So normally, Nero, I would tell you that doubt is the first step on the path to damnation, and that everything we do, we need to do with certainty of action and quickness of thinking. But you need to be careful that you're not making your liege's situation more difficult by simply creating more and more enemies for him. Every enemy you knock down potentially has further above him that you've now alienated or created an enemy out of.
Are you implying that my recent actions might come back to haunt us? Because I received a very clear message that that would not be true. Incredibly clear.
All I'm telling you is that whatever action you take, you need to be prepared for the repercussions of that action.
Beth. Things were easier when I was just an armsman. You know, like a really well-paid, highly placed armsman who was well-trusted, but...
So, in this, things have changed, indeed. You'll have to reconcile with that. As I said, I'm here to help you, but you need to be mindful of your actions.
All right. I'll be back for more sessions off camera. Then he stands
well.
up and walks off camera.
Okay. Outside, Kios approaches you with like a bunch of little black Tupperware containers in a bag, in like a Hessian bag.
This is the first time I've heard of plastic existing in the Warhammer 40K universe. Holy shit!
I know it
I
exists,
thought they
but
just transported everything in ammo cases.
It's funny too because it's spelled differently, but it's still pronounced like, was it Plastech?
Plastech, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, look, man, you know, some things like you just Rubbermaid got it right the first time. Like you just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I just call out to everyone in the house and say, the conveyance is leaving in 10 minutes. We have sandwiches and we're going shopping. Get in, losers. Not you, Lord Captain. I mean, obviously you should get in, but you're not the loser.
The
about
Tupperware
to say.
Corporation stays in business for over.
Someone's about to take a pay
30,000
cut
years.
for the month.
No time to explain. Grab the cactus and get in.
Lord Captain, are you even aware of how much you pay me?
No, but it's going to be less this month.
I lean. He just leans over to Garth.
You're getting paid.
I didn't know we were getting paid.
Nero walks by with this bag full of all of the bounty money from last night that he's leafing through all of the thrown gelt.
Oh, good. You have the spare change.
Yes, of course, Lord Captain. My spare change.
no, it's fine. No one ever slights a tech priest because
I don't sleep.
I mean, you're literally going now to pick up a sword you didn't hand over any currency for. It's all been handled at the back end.
look, it's just put on the captain's tab, and it's like buying Snap-on tools. You just pay it off as you go. It's whatever business expense.
Give a line of credit.
I feel so bad for our accountant.
Who the 20,000 bolter? Who the hell is using these?
Well, nobody applied for the accountant role as an NPC yet, so
Yeah.
I'll have to populate that role.
Nor my secretary.
Yeah, you need an adjutant.
We also,
you
we
need a
still
cook.
really need a first officer. No, Rad said he was going to do the cook, but then he hasn't submitted anything yet.
Yeah,
But he really wants to be the cook.
Yeah.
It won't work out well for Nero, though. He was MREs all round. That was his idea.
Listen, I know that we've had a lot of comedy about Nero and breakfast, but he grew up on a fortress world. MREs all around is what he's used to.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That's why he's delighted to have anything but MREs. But listen, he was trained. He can do this.
Look, Cyrax also spent time meeting MREs. He sympathizes with your pain. But now he's of the rank where he can eat whatever the fuck he wants.
All right. So you guys set off in your little golf buggy that you've seconded, heading to the market district of Footfall once again. So there seems to be there's a palpable air that's changed overnight in Footfall. That it's like you just sort of get this sense of suspicion about the place. So a lot of people are looking around. People are having conversations, are taking more care to try and keep their conversations to themselves. There's just this sort of tension that wasn't necessarily here yesterday.
Yeah, Nero's a blunt-edged instrument. He's gonna walk up with his heavy bolter before him after parking the buggy, the golf cart, and just like grab somebody who looks like they know something and just be like, I'm Nero the Blade of the Hand of Calixis. Tell me what you're talking about. I want to know why everyone around here is so nervous.
All right, and certainly people that aren't this person sort of scatter
As he
you
muzzle sweeps all the civilians. Why are you nervous? He's just like gesturing with it. It's like, I wonder why they're nervous.
Seems like you're alone. Maybe you should tell me what you know.
There's just rumors on the street today that there's a lot of rogue traders in port, and that there is something big happening tonight, and that some of them are trying to stop the others from attending.
Oh,
there's
interesting. And which rogue traders did you think were in port?
I don't know all the names. I know that.
Are there more than 4?
Yes.
Well then, why don't you tell me the names that you do know?
Well, Winterscale's ship is definitely here.
I see.
Fell's ship is here. Sun Lee her ship is here. There are others. There's probably at least 8 total.
And you say that some of the rogue traders are rumored to be trying to stop others from doing what exactly?
Well, they don't want others attending the auction tonight. There's been stories of thrones being paid to toughs and assassins to try and prevent others from reaching the event.
So I'm gonna get real close into this guy's face and say, is that everything you have to tell me?
Yes, just that there's more people on the street today that are carrying weapons and look like they're looking to make trouble. And there's also there were a whole bunch of people killed last night on the station. Everyone is talking about it. It must have been where this all started. Everybody's suddenly on edge.
I don't know anything about that. So Nero is not... I obviously make the connection, but Nero is not making the connection to all of the dead crime lords.
Yes.
And he says, well now, thank you for your information. I'd like to reward you. Stop by the Cowles estate sometime. The rogue trader, Pierre Cowles estate. Your knowledge has been extremely helpful to me. Speak to the doorman, Regal Kiosk. He will give you some reward for your information. I apologize for interrupting your morning. Please, go on.
He exits quickly, and pretty much everyone but Nero can tell he's never going near the Cowles estate for the rest of his life.
Nero just got a whole bunch of information for free. And I didn't even have to make a roll. Which is good, because I'm bad at talking to people. I have really big penalties. I'm going to turn around and return to the cart where everybody is disgorging from. I assume they were just watching what I was doing, and I say, Lord Captain, it would appear that there is some suspicion that other rogue traders will be attempting to blockade the Obsidian Emporium's auction tonight.
Interesting.
Footfall is up-arming itself.
Very interesting.
A lot of people were killed last night, apparently. Everybody is very upset about it, and they're on edge.
I'm not sure if you're saying that somewhat ironically or seriously.
I don't understand.
Okay.
At least 3
probably
more rogue traders have arrived since last night.
Interesting.
Lord Captains Winterscale, Fell, and Sun Lee. And possibly a 4th new rogue trader on top of yourself, Charmelin, Janko Scourge, and Croak Feckwood.
I personally do not have an interest in that auction, but if
Really?
we can...
You really don't have an interest in the auction?
I don't have anything to offer at the moment.
Well, allow me to present an alternative outcome. You do require transportation to the Hand of Calixis that we do not currently have.
Yes, my idea is to help Charmelin to... We're taking... My idea is to...
Has something changed? The last time I had heard from her, she had indicated that she was not, in fact, ready to commit to such a transportation job.
Which will take us after this.
Did she say that?
I don't know.
I think that what she said was that she would decide after she had seen the foretelling.
That voice from the sky sounded exactly correct to what I was just implying.
True.
Yes.
Perhaps we can make sure we ensure her that she does make it to the...
I'll be going.
auction.
I could go as her escort or bodyguard or something. I mean, she has one. He seemed competent. We had lunch with him, remember? Maybe it was breakfast.
Indeed.
We had a meal with them, and he was threatening me, I was threatening him. It worked out great.
I do not doubt that for a moment.
Thank you. I appreciate it when you accept what I say at face value.
After we do some shopping, maybe we should meet up with her.
Very well, Lord Captain. Nero pulls out his notebook and writes a second heart next to Charmelin's name and draws an arrow through the first heart.
What happens when he gets to 5?
Free smoothie.
That's when you unlock the secret cutscene.
No, it's when you unlock the first date event, obviously.
Okay, so she's what, like an F support rank now.
That is the sound of someone who's been playing Fire Emblem games. Oh my god, I would love to see support seats Fire Emblem style between characters on this show. Yeah, we just went up in rank. I fucking hate you now. What? Lord Captain, perhaps you'd like to make a commerce test or something like that. I don't understand how it works, but...
Buy this thing for me.
Called haggling.
Sure. I don't understand how that works either.
That's fair.
Normally I just give people money or I shoot them and acquire what I want anyway.
Understandable.
So, what are we looking to buy today?
I think his first is that cyber tech that he's wanting.
Oh yeah, I want the MIU weapons implant for shoulder-mounted las gunning.
Ah, yes, see, that's right. You didn't get that last time, did you?
Yep.
Okay.
So I go back to the merchant and I put my heavy bolter down. I'm not pointing it at him. I got it lengthwise, and I'm just like, you didn't have one yesterday. Why don't you go and check the stock and make sure that something hasn't come in on one of the rogue trader ships?
Okay.
Do I get a +10 to the commerce test for the renown warrant?
Yes, you do.
Excellent. Well, that doesn't help much. I'll fate point that. Why not? It's a fresh night. That doesn't help much.
Okay. So, by the way, it was pointed out that normally the commerce test is done as a opposed test. I find with just street merchants, it's easier just to, if it's not an important NPC, I just tend to assume they got exactly 0 degrees of success. So, really, it's where the player falls against that. So that gives you +2 profit factor. So, brings you up to 41. It's rare, which is -10, but you only want 1, so you're looking at 61 on this roll. So someone needs to make a profit factor roll into 61.
Nope.
Not today.
Nero looks like a dog without a bone. When the merchant comes back and he's just like, very well, Lord Captain, I'll wait at the cart.
Dejected.
One day we'll be able to find one, don't worry.
Believe my sword will have arrived.
Yes.
You stop by that merchant and yep, they hand over a beautifully made sword in a scabbard.
Excellent. Now this is a power sword, right?
Force sword.
Force sword.
Different, yeah.
You can channel your power through it using the dark side.
So it can explode with you.
To anybody else, it functions just as a normal plain sword. Well, a best quality sword with the mono bonus. But to you, you can channel your power through it to do additional damage.
I think Atomic, he sent me something. You're wanting a
Yes, I need to acquire a manipulator mechadendrite.
Yeah.
That.
Yep, that.
Very rare, I believe.
Well, okay. That's a good start.
Okay, so that's +12, so it brings you up to 51. Very rare is -20. So you're looking at 61 again.
All right.
I believe, Pondo. I believe.
Well, we'll see. Someone's one day. There we go. Yes. Okay.
That's correct. Okay. And on footfall, very rare. We'll take 1d5. I think 1d5 weeks.
Oh, weeks.
Yep.
3 weeks.
Yep.
Damn.
To be here for you when you return.
All right.
Jiminy Christmas. Okay.
Same as when you need it.
Why
The
not be
41st millennium.
crazy? Can I try to get an Inferno pistol just for the hell of it?
Sure. Yeah. So, Inferno pistol is
It's very rare. From what I
very
saw.
rare. So you're looking at a total of plus 10 for a single one.
5.2. Sweet.
So it gives you 59% chance.
That is one of the things that I liked in the later editions, like Only War, for example, the stuff that is only available to AdMech. You get like tech priests have lower chance or have better chances to get stuff than normal people do.
Okay, well, I don't think there's anything else that we require unless we just want to throw in to get some more grenades. Why not? Grenades are fun.
So while
Grenades
this is
are nice.
happening,
Yes.
Nero is going to pull Cyrax aside.
Oh boy.
Is there a title I should be addressing you by, Cyrax? I was looking through my Imperium hand manual, and it seems like you're actually rather high-ranking. According to the ship's officer chart, you actually outrank me.
Yes, technically I do. I have a title of Explorator or Engineer Prime. Pick one.
I mean, I'm asking if you want to be addressed by them, but absolutely, Engineer Prime.
As far as I care, those in the Rogue Traders retinue can call me whatever they like, but the rest of the crew will give me my due respect.
Yep, that sounds right to me, Cyrax. Alright, look. I wanted to ask you about a highly theoretical situation that definitely did not happen. Just possibly could happen to me in the future. What would cause two servitors standing near a good Imperium man, one of them suddenly begins trying to kill that person, and the other one doesn't? And like it was like super weird, and like its skin was burning off, and you know there was just a lot of metal and decay, and the other one was perfectly fine. What could cause something like that to happen, if it would have happened at all? Because it definitely didn't happen. I just heard it from a friend.
Do I know, or does Cyrax know that Nero has had dealings with Chaos Forces before?
Yes, he's mentioned.
Yeah,
that
he's mentioned
he's
okay.
anti-chaos.
Okay. So I'll lean in nice close.
Between you and me, because I know that you know and you know that I know. Corruption from the powers beyond. I believe guardsmen call it warp fuckery. Corruption of the machine spirit.
Yes, I've heard of these things. Yes, I mean I've shot them. So
That would be the
Interesting.
prime cause that I can think of. Although they could be influenced by remote means. Maybe a heretic of some sort.
So are you implying that Heretic, if such an event was to happen, Heretic could have been used?
Well, a heretic, you can.
It
Some
doesn't
of
also
us-
refer to the machinery of the maker is also not called Heretic. Look, so a machine developed by a Heretic could have caused this.
A heretic themselves could be influencing the servitors programming, yes. Some of us have the capability to interface with and overwrite the servitors' prime directives.
I don't know how familiar he is with like the Legio Cybernetica, but they're like
Nope.
automatons,
0%.
giant war robots.
He doesn't know that the logicians aren't AdMech members.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I bring my guns to them for maintenance. They make the machine spirit happy.
Yeah.
But there are very few things in general that could cause that.
And you're saying it almost certainly is influence of the chaos powers, and possibly even from dark technology.
More often than not, yes. If the machine spirit was corrupt or started to fail, usually that unit would be retired well in advance. We tend to keep on top of these things for very good reason.
I see. Thank you, Cyrax. I feel like this has been a very encouraging theoretical discussion, and you can tell that he doesn't feel like it's been encouraging. You can feel like, again, it looks like someone killed his dog after the dog didn't get the bone.
Yes, completely theoretical.
Like, if he could wink, you know, he would give a wink, but he can't. So he just stands there and stares at him. And then he's just going to turn around and go back to the looking at things. His conversation is over.
Yeah, Nero's going to stare darkly while waiting for Pierre
See,
and
now I
Garth.
have the 1,000-yard stare of, oh my god. I just I just like walked into a Chuck E. Cheese and set the place on fire. Like, it's like that look of horror in his eyes. Oh god.
Actually, can I get a grapnel?
Sure.
Our rogue trader's gonna die by falling to his death. This is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
Okay.
Intrigued. I'll fate point that. Why not?
Yes, as Omlar says, Cyrax needs to pay the wink emote microtransaction.
No,
Wow, did you roll a 100? Incredible.
I did.
He
Yeah.
did indeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so your profit factor is effectively 6 lower for this. So it's
Because I rolled
30
100.
No, because you got 3 degrees of failure.
So it's 33. It's normally an average, which is plus 10, and you want one which is plus 30. So you're at 73 to get a grapnel, a single grapnel.
Still fails. By like 1.2. It's going to be real painful.
No, by a lot. Okay. The game's trying to tell me that I don't need this piece of equipment.
I mean,
been a
Got
run on-
plenty of rope, but no grapnels.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know, and the grapnel's one of those things too, where it's like they're not particularly rare. So, I mean, you just keep trying till you get one, really, right? I mean,
Yeah.
They just
It's
see that I'm
definitely-
going to get in trouble with it. That's why they're not selling it to me.
It's fate paying you back for finding a force sword easily on a packed water planet.
I guess so.
you've expended the resource allocation for this station. We have to move on to the next town and wait for them to restock. It's
Oh, no. Don't Mountain Blade me, please. No.
It's not just Mountain Blade that does that shit, but
I'll just stand outside and wait 24 hours pressing the T key,
just
and then
every time. But he
I
mentions.
love my new sword. Let me
So
tell you.
I was in an only war campaign where we had two players and almost another player die due to grapnel usage. I kid you, by falling to their death. So I'm just like, if he gets one, I'm just gonna take it away.
I mean, you could just tie, you
Fell
could
at
just
the
tie
air,
rope around the pommel of the force sword and throw it, I guess.
I'm not throwing my force sword.
so you think.
Here, you can have the mono sword. Throw that.
Lord Captain,
Yes.
it seems as if there might be some attempts to stop people like you from attending the Obsidian Emporium's event. If no one
Yes.
has anything else better to do, might I suggest we simply camp out front? You know, I've seen such things happen at concerts and, you know, shoe stores.
When have you been to a concert?
I mean, Nero looks incredibly offended and turns and says, I am a patron of the fine arts. Garth, I don't know what to say.
Have you ever seen the binaric version of Shakespeare?
Shakespeare.
Yeah, no, he's a thing. He's
That's why
Shakespeare
it's called
is
in
canon.
40K.
I prefer
like
it in the
all the
original
them.
High Gothic, but yes.
Yeah, he's an ancient Terran philosopher, according to
Yeah,
modern records.
they reference a lot of the stuff, but they all have different because it's like, you know, telephone. It's all changed over the years, but they reference that stuff constantly in the books and stuff. It's pretty funny. So yes, even the 41st millennium, Shakespeare still exists.
As it should.
I think there's quotes by Sun Tzu in there as well, where they're unattributed, but they're obviously Sun Tzu quotes.
Yeah, so Nero is just like, Garth, I realize I haven't always given you the best impression, but you seem to think so little of me. Especially
I'm just
for someone
poking
who...
fun at you. I really don't care.
I suspect. Garth, I did have a question to ask you as long as we were all here. I mean, my ability to... Well, I suppose that some of you believe my job is to defend the Lord Captain, although really, I would say that it's more to act like a force of natural destruction upon the Lord Captain's enemies and anyone who might harm him. However, after you barged your way into my mind the other day, it occurred to me that I have little to no defense against, you know, your stuff, that thing that you do. And I thought perhaps all of us might have a discussion on how we might improve it. I mean, look, we're right here outside the Obsidian Emporium right now, which I'm sure the Game Master will describe what it looks like, and then we'll have a quiet discussion over the next few hours about how we can bolster our minds against, you know, your dark evil power.
It's not evil.
Debatable.
Nero turns to the Game Master and wonders what this area outside the Obsidian Emporium looks like.
So remembering that.
Before we go there, I'd like to send a message to Armelon saying, essentially reserving a space for you whenever you get here.
Okay. So the Obsidian Emporium is... So remembering that Footfall is a bunch of effectively domes or towers on the surface of an asteroid. The Obsidian Emporium is a dome within a dome. So it is a dome-shaped building made of black rock, basically, with stained glass windows. From what you can see from the outside, the inside appears to be based like a theater in the round. So a circular sort of tiered seating around a sort of central stage area, which has like a large lectern on it. With that being said, you can't actually enter the Emporium yet because it's not yet open.
Right.
But there are a couple of sort of brutish guards outside that are sort of they're telling people, you're welcome to wait, but you can't come in until tonight.
Yeah, Nero and the golf cart have set up a perimeter there just to make sure nobody tries to force us away. You know, if other rogue traders get intercepted, Nero doesn't give a shit unless the Lord Captain tells him to do something. But right now, are we the first ones here?
I'm going to say that there are no other rogue traders here, but there are others who are lining up here. So this is not exclusive to rogue traders.
Of course, yeah.
Other merchants or whatever else can take part.
I'm looking for weapons. I'm looking for the rumored people who are supposed to be stopping rogue traders from arriving. I want to know if there's assassins and gunmen that are just going to open up on Pierre here and just be like, die!
So give me awareness at +10.
Fuck. Does anyone else want to help me scan the crowd?
I'll take inquiry as well if you prefer.
Does anyone else want to help me scan the crowd?
I have the servo skull that I can have floating about.
Yeah, I can.
Oh wow, I succeeded.
Scan as well.
Are we doing awareness? What are we doing?
I'm looking to make sure there's no threats to you.
Awareness plus 10.
10.
I got a point of success.
I've failed utterly. I just turn and look at Nero and say, I don't see anything.
I don't know what I see, but I don't like it, whatever it is. I'm looking directly at Garth when I say that.
It's like Nero.
Those of you that passed,
blind.
Jesus Christ.
I literally see nothing.
See shit.
That that air you had outside in the emergency isn't here. Like there is that same sort of tension isn't here. There doesn't seem to be, people aren't giving each other sideways glances in this area. So your guess would either be that if there is intent upon violence, it's happening outside of this area. Like they want to sort of make it look like, gang violence is what stopped this rogue trader from getting here. Or alternatively, people respect the Obsidian Emporium enough not to actively engage people directly outside its walls. But you're guessing probably one of the reasons why people have come here so early is because they like you have heard rumors of people trying to cut back on the competition, and so I'll just go wait there for the whole day. That'll keep me nice and safe because no one would try anything out the front here.
Interesting. I'm gonna, after I'm done scanning.
Trouble, Nero?
I mean, Nero laughs. I'm always expecting trouble. This is the Imperium. I mean, we're not even in the Imperium anymore. We're in the Super Imperium area.
Well then, I'll activate my mind link with everyone.
Oh, I mean, Nero's just gonna be like, wow, delightful. All right, Lord Captain, I have a plan, and it doesn't involve killing everyone around us in intense violence. Just to cut that off real quick. I was thinking
how uncharacteristic.
Well, I am feeling very jittery today, but I am somewhat tempered by your words of warning, Garth. So let me float this one by all of you. And by float this by you, I'm basically telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not asking permission. if the rest of you can hold this area here, I mean, I don't assume anyone's going to attack us in our golf cart right now. I would like to go tend to the local criminal element, any gangers I can find in the local area, and before they can be recruited in order to do ill things to us, just simply, convince them that it would be better if perhaps they found some other place to gang today.
If you wish to strong arm them, then proceed. Just don't.
I appreciate your permission, Lord Captain. Nero stands up, hefting his heavy bolter, and starts, walking around the edge of this area, looking for criminal scum to intimidate.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Stop that shouting!
All right, I'd like everybody to give me another awareness test, only awareness. It's plus 10 for everybody, but I'll give you, because you're actually out on active patrol, Nero, I'll give you a plus 30 on this one.
Ooh. Yeah, nice. I succeed with some, some spare change.
It was a flat roll for us?
Plus 10.
Oh, plus 10.
What are you on?
Awareness plus 10.
Again?
Wow, terrible. Absolutely.
You sure you have a servo skull?
Hey, 3
you
degrees of
checked?
success.
I didn't add
3 degrees of success.
Even if I added the extra 20, I still wouldn't have made that sense relevant.
Okay, so
Doesn't mean
for those of you that succeed, so you notice from among the crowd, a young boy, probably 8 or 9, separates from the crowd, and he's wearing sort of like ratty robes, but they're sort of like the things you'd expect like a priest in training to wear, for example, like an altar boy's robes, but they are tattered and like frayed at the edges and probably like a size too big for him.
I mean, does this immediately remind us all of Oswald in a way?
Yeah, bit younger, but it's almost like Oswald from a poverty church rather than like Oswald comes from like he's actually well dressed.
Yes.
Because he's maintained.
This kid asked me for more porridge. I'm gonna jack slap him.
He's carrying like in his arms. He's basically holding something large wrapped up in a dirty cloth, and he's making his way out of the crowd towards the group. So your group. So Nero, you've separated. So you see this from the outside. The others see them approaching the group. Because with your degrees, Garth as well, you can sense like there is a slight, not taint, but just like there's an air of the warp about him. Like he's been in the company of psychers. That there's just that miasma of psychic energy which just hangs off his body.
It's a bomb.
I'm gonna.
I want to relay through the mind link. There's whoop fuckery on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap to my. I'm gonna, back holster the heavy bolter and get out my hell gun and use the omniscope's presence and, in fact, all of the scope settings to analyze him in the package to figure out what's going on here.
Okay, give me a plus 10 scrutiny.
Damn it! Why do you keep using things that I don't eat? Like, even as a
Why do you
character,
keep
Why do you
don't
keep
have.
trying to do things you don't know how to do?
well, I mean, it's my responsibility to do these things, but
Can I,
I just want
James?
to listen. I'd be better off just shooting him at this point.
What's I saying? Like, I'm very much having a
Wow, I
American
rolled a
Sniper moment.
100. Incredible.
Can I,
Fantastic.
knowing that this kid's been pointed out, James, can
This
I try
boy
and
looks
do
like Orphan Annie.
an Auspex sweep to see if I can pick up any traces of explosive material, maybe?
Yeah, so you either do a scrutiny or a tech use at plus 10.
I'll do tech use because my tech use is way better.
Do I have that option as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick sweep over him and then over the mind link say, I'm not seeing anything here. It just looks like a kid with a package.
Okay, so Cyrax, whatever he's carrying is technological, like it does contain mechanics, but no explosives that you can detect.
According to my servo skull, he's carrying some type of device, but it doesn't appear to be an explosive.
So Nero was bringing the gun down, and he brings it back up again.
Most likely a communicator.
Cyrax, can you intercept him? I'm out of position.
Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Nero's gonna set up for a aim sniper shot on this kid if he does anything he doesn't like.
Yeah, I'll try and intercept this kid.
That kid's eating candy. Shoot him.
Candy is heretical.
So once you break away and approach him, he sees that you've seen him and approach him. He comes towards you, Cyrax.
Mm-hmm.
And he's holding up the bundle towards you. My lord, this is a gift I was told to bring you.
Before I take it,
A gift from whom, and what is it?
I don't know what it is. It's just a gift. It's from Atar Soloket, the soothsayer of Footfall.
let's see. Do I recognize that name?
No, it's not something any of you have come across.
Okay, then I must.
Not even me, because I've been here before.
No, you've never heard of it. Well, sorry, you may have heard the name before, but never actually met this person.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but for reference, whenever I'm talking to this kid, I definitely have my Vox open so that anybody can hear
Okay.
whatever the conversation going on. I will. I guess I'll take it, and then I'll give the kid a little pat on the head with my mechadendrite.
Blessings of the Omnissiah be upon you. Now off you go.
He sort of bows and makes a sign of the Aquila, and then heads back to the crowd.
And you just hear over the mind link, now what in the feth do I do with this?
Have you considered opening it?
Would
Pointing
you like
away
to?
from the Lord Captain.
Would you like to open it?
I mean, yeah.
So whatever it is you can feel from its shape, it's roughly spherical in shape. Not spherical, so like a tube, like tubular, I should say. Sorry,
Cylindrical.
So cylindrical. That's it. Yes. Okay. And probably about. Sounds on my camera, but almost a foot long.
Okay.
And probably 6 to 8 inches in diameter.
Okay. Yeah. It's definitely some type of cylindrical container.
Nero's gonna
Nice.
sheath his Ghostbuster gun and then take a jog over to Cyrax and just be like, hand it over here.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
I'm gonna turn away from the rest of the party and then open the wrappings and take a look at what I'm looking at.
See me
Okay.
do like the dramatic stick fingers and ears.
So inside is first off, silver tube is the first thing you see, but then
Yeah.
you sort of, as you sort of turn around, you realize that it is a silver vambrace of power armor. But way too big to be normal human power armor. It looks like it's worn and damaged on one end, but it's definitely extremely well made. Beautiful artificing on the actual vambrace, and it's got like an etched filigree on one side.
Could I either do common lore, machine cult, or tech to try and identify?
Yep, give me a plus 10.
I mean, I know obviously it's power armor, but whether it's Astartes or if it be Inquisitional power armor, maybe.
Is it possibly Archaeotech power armor?
No, it's a
Uh,
tech,
no.
common law tech plus 10.
I guess it doesn't really matter because they're both they're both the same. So.
Is there any markings that would indicate
2.3.
ownership of this object?
I'll come back to that one. So with your common law tech, so this is definitely Mark 7 Artificer power armor space, like a Astartes issue. Wouldn't be heretical because Chaos Space Marines diverged before the Mark 7 was launched, unless it's stolen unless they've stolen back.
Yeah, which
But it
is
doesn't.
very
It's
common,
not bearing heretical markings. So the markings on it certainly have religious significance. So certainly have, which is unusual for Space Marines as well, because Space Marines don't tend to revere the Emperor as a god, but this is sort of like blessings of the ecclesiarchy.
So this is definitely narrows the chapter selection down because I probably can only name 4 off the top of my head as a player that are do that.
So give me a logic roll, please, Arthur. Just Arthur.
Okay.
Nero. It's straight logic.
Great logic.
Probably not great for you, I'm guessing. Okay. So, yeah, it's the markings don't give it away to you, basically. But certainly, whoever this is has sort of placed.
I don't recognize the company symbol as of the companies that I've seen so far.
Yeah, well, there's no company symbols there.
Okay, just making
it's simply,
sure.
Yeah.
That there's nothing really obvious that I'm missing here. I
That's
mean,
it.
yeah. So Nero's gonna at some point he unwrapped it and maybe he held it in his hand very briefly, but he's gonna use the wrappings to hold it and then bring it over to Pierre and say, "This is an incredible gift you have received, Lord Captain. If this is what I suspect it is," and I'm going to turn towards Cyrax for confirmation.
It's definitely Mark 7 armor, but what chapter I cannot tell.
None that I know either.
It doesn't have any chapter markings on it?
No, they
Alright.
wouldn't. The biggest identifying thing that we have, at least as players, is that it has religious iconography on the arm, which is very rare because most Astartes chapters still follow the imperial truths. So they don't see the emperor as a god. There's only
Every fiber of my being is thinking it's Grey Knights.
Well, I mean, even Grey Knights don't do the they do the imperial. So I mean, if it's silver, so that rules out the Black Templars. I mean, you got.
I would suspect
God,
that this had something to do with the Death Watch, but every Death Watch Marine I've seen so far has pure black armor.
Well, okay, so keep in mind, so a couple of things I'll point out here. So first off, it's probably not Grey Knights because it's actually painted silver, whereas Grey Knight armor is unpainted ceramite. That's why it looks grey.
Right. Okay.
It could be, so Death Watch armor can be silver because they wear their whole left arm is in silver.
Is this a left arm vambrace?
No, but this is a right arm vambrace as far as you can tell.
Okay.
So therefore it's probably not. So vambrace, by the way, is a section of armor that goes between the elbow and the wrist for someone who's been asked in chat.
Yep. Plus,
I don't know if I could do any sort of lore for that.
Let's see.
I would say Imperium lore, but that's probably not it either.
Well, you'd have to have fairly extensive knowledge of all the
Yeah.
chapters of Astartes, because even then, because like I said, there's only probably 4 that I could think of that follow the Imperial Creed, and one of them wears all black, so that takes them out immediately. So
Would Scholastic Lore Tactica Imperialis work here?
Yeah, I'll let you take that, but it's gonna be at -10.
Sure.
does anybody have what's the common lore for the religious stuff? I guess we probably don't.
Ecclesiarchy or Imperial Creed.
Yeah, we don't. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody has
succeeded.
that.
Okay, so it's not so much that your knowledge of Tactica, but when you're sort of considering different battle forces, and then you're thinking, it sort of makes a connection in your mind that the silver of this armor seems to match the silver background of the black skull of the skull emblem. So you had the Death Watch Marine you saw that was a silver skull.
Correct.
Had a silver skull and a black background with a silver border, and it matches the silver border.
So blood drop on a circular saw, scratched out, and so this is one of the ones that I saw in the past.
On the hand of, on the Hand of Calixis.
Okay. Yeah, not the ones that we saw back on Port Wonder. Okay,
No.
so damn it, we're mind linked. But if I say anything to Pierre, everyone can hear it. I'm gonna say, I've considered it, Lord Captain, and I have in fact seen this particular type of armor before. On the Hand of Calixis.
Go on.
Are you certain?
Yes.
The Lord Captain had several Death Watch Marines on board that we were ordered not to observe. I saw them once from a distance and was told. Well, shortly after that, I was reassigned again to you. They were not constant companions, but a somewhat more recent addition about 1.5 years ago. Before everything happened with the Hand of Calixis and the Regina 4 incident. I don't know how someone acquired this, if it is from a Marine that was on board the Hand of Calixis, or if this is some kind of message, but this artifact is of great and important value, and I believe it should be returned to the order to which it belongs. However, it has been given to you, Lord Captain, so that is your decision. And he's gonna, like, offer it up, as if one was offering Excalibur.
He'll take it. I feel as though that this may look into this a little bit more later. Do you know the chapter this could belong to?
I do not have a name for the chapter.
Very well.
So are you specifically lying there, or you don't remember, Arthur?
Oh, do I know?
Yeah, this is the one you did identify, the Silver Skulls.
Ah, Silver Eyes. Okay, then. Yes, I do know. They are called the Silver Skulls, and they have devoted at least a portion of their companies to serving the Deathwatch Inquisition unit.
I'm not surprised. They are the sons of Gilliman.
Yeah, Nero doesn't know what that means.
Yeah.
Very well.
I really, really hesitate to say this, Lord Captain. It's very painful to me. But we could speak with Miriam about returning this object, should that be your wish.
Indeed. For now, I think I'll hold on to it. Still have some time here on Woodfall before we leave, so. Or can we leave, that is.
So I assume you just wrap it back up again, but it's a substantial thing, what you're carrying as such. So it's up to you.
Right.
You can just leave it on the golf cart, you know.
Or I could probably hold on to it as well.
Do you have some sort of compartment, Cyrax?
What? So rude. Oh my god.
I mean, he's not wrong. I do have
storing this in your belly.
See, you laugh, but I do have, like, because at least for thematic reasons, it's a thing you can do. You can replace most of your organs with machines. So literally, he has like where your intestines and stuff would be. He has like a thing that's where he stores the servo skull when it's not floating about. So
he's shown it before. So
yeah, no, it is. It's more of a. It's less of a compartment and more of a just like I can magnetically hold stuff there. So I mean, I can take it and just clunk right under the row and just let it sit there. So sure, why not? It's where the servo skull goes to, recharge or whatever.
Induction charging?
Yeah, like it's wireless charging from a servo skull, man. I mean, because the Tech Priest and Ninja, it's called a potentio coil. It's a built-in power supply. It's why they can keep going. It's why they can use mechadendrites and stuff, whatever. It's an internal power supply, so.
All right. Nero will take his rifle back out and resume patrol. Now that he's remembered he has an omniscope, he's going to occasionally use it just to check and make sure, all of the humans are humanish and all of the aliens are unarmed and that kind of deal.
And there's no ninjas around.
Yeah, definitely checking for ninjas, 100%. I got 3 degrees of success earlier, so I just want to know if there's ninjas. You have to tell me if there's ninjas.
If you're a law, you have to tell me.
Are you an arbiter? You have to tell me.
That's probably a discussion Nero has had at some point.
I imagine Nero's probably been pulled over for like stealing a speeder or something. Like it was just sitting there, the keys were in it. Like, I just see that happening. How much MSEC have you had today, sir?
Enough.
So, about 2 hours before the event is scheduled to start, Charlotte Bell does arrive with her retinue. She's carrying, along with her other stuff, she's carrying a small, when I say small, probably only about 3-inch square box made of wood, like a little sort of a chest box, which has some hexagrammic words inscribed on the outside of it as well. And she sort of joins the line near you guys as well, and she sort of nods to Pierre. Have you been waiting here since you sent that message?
Yes.
I offer her a
haven't had much
sandwich.
to do at the moment.
She goes on. Oh, thank you, Master Blade. Yes.
Nero the Blade, yes.
Yes.
We had gotten word that people were trying to. Oh, what's the polite word?
Intercept.
Yes.
Murder. Kill.
Yes, I
Early
It's
read
a
it.
polite word, not.
destruction.
Annihilate, decimate,
Essentially,
obliterate.
they're wanting to eliminate as much competition as possible.
I had heard that that both Feckwood and Scourge were paying good money to try and find out who else was planning to attend and potentially to waylay. Probably unlike those two are smart enough not to attack another rogue trader, though. Probably more they'd be going after the more mercantile groups that would be attending here.
I have secured this area. I suspect that there will be no trouble, at least here. Anyone that fails to reach this location, well, that's their own fault.
Have you worked out? I mean, and you don't need to tell me. I'm just. Have you worked out what you're going to bid, Pierre?
I don't think I want to bid anything at the moment.
I'll be bidding.
We're still mind linked, right?
Garth?
You must have mind linked,
we
yes.
mind link for like 8 hours?
Well, I mean, just I don't,
Oh my god. I mean, Nero's thoughts are probably just like, kill.
I mean, I'm
kill.
reading through here, and it seems like it's an act.
Yeah,
you
I'm just making sure.
choose to send, like you don't have to.
Yeah, it's not just your.
I'm not
unconscious
just
thoughts.
reading everyone's minds constantly. It's like I want
you
to talk
actively
through
send the
this.
message.
Oh, well then you basically never hear anything from Nero except like sweep clear.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
will-
have it active as a form of, as a way
Yeah.
of covert non.
I just asked less mechanically and more. I need to know what fucking voice I need to use. So I will send over my Captain. I have a theory. What if someone gifted us this piece of power? I'm going to use as a bid.
That's heresy. This must be returned.
That was my one thought.
Why would you return a gift? That makes no sense.
It
The
means
person
to
who
return
gifted
to
it to us did not acquire this in the manner that it needs to be acquired. This belongs
Do you
to
know
the
that?
Space Marine chapter.
Do you know how they acquired it?
I know that it is not with the chapter that made it, which means it is not this person's.
I believe it was sent to us to use as a bargaining.
This is very possible.
I mean, can Nero manually cut himself out of the mind link? Can he just be like, no?
You can try to oppose it.
Yeah, I'd say I'd probably give it a willpower roll at +10.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Nero's just
Well,
like
that's an
fucking
opposed
out of
roll,
this
isn't it?
conversation. He's very upset to hear people messing around with Space Marine stuff. 1.3 degrees of success.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nero.
see, Cyrax
Mic
is
drops.
less. Cyrax is like, obviously Nero doesn't know, but I'm like, training of Embrace to help acquire reclaim a cruiser for the Adeptus Mechanicus. Like, I'll make that trade.
So is that an
It gets
opposed roll for
exclusive.
him to break out of it?
I believe it is opposed.
Yeah, he succeeded. He succeeded.
Okay, so yeah, I guess he can. He hangs up the phone.
I mean, he's not going to make a big deal out of this in front of Charmelin. She's not a member of the crew, and it's none of her fucking business. But he is incredibly pissed and doesn't want to talk about this anymore. He's made it clear, don't sell the Space Marine gear. If you want to talk about it, he's not involved.
We do know that these seers and witches, whatever they're called, do what they accept as a gift or a bid is very unusual.
So Charlebel is so not getting responses, is sort of saying, well, from what I understand, with these sorts of auctions for the witches, each participant's only allowed to make one bid, and that what I suggest is that, or at least what I'm going to do is wait, let all the dross bid first. Wait until we start to see some successful bids to get an idea about what the true value is. But and she sort of taps the box. I feel that I've got something that would be of interest to them anyway.
I want to mind probe her without her knowledge.
Sure. Give me a roll at minus 20, I believe it is. Plus, but you get +5 for doing it with your.
This is why Nero was just asking about how we can defend against this bullshittery.
Hey, 3 degrees of success.
Wow. You son of a bitch.
All right. Okay, so you succeeded. Okay, so reading her surface thoughts, she is planning to bid she has a part of a demon that was severed in combat that she plans to bid.
I'll send that over the mind link.
Okay. Give me a Forbidden Law warp roll, please, Garth. Just a flat roll.
I don't have Forbidden Lore.
Oh, I haven't got Forbidden Law
Psychers.
Psychers. Okay, no, that's not going to
Here,
cut it.
Pierre just go, well, damn. Serious stuff.
Well, did he told us that?
He did,
Yes,
yeah.
she was bidding?
Via the mind link, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how good a her bid is to see how it measures up.
Well, the problem is we don't know, because what the witches place value in could be, somebody could bid a ham sandwich and they would take it. So it's like, fucking, we don't know. So everybody's, I mean, that's her plan, is to wait and see what is being, I mean, are they blind bids, or do you know what other people are bidding?
So for the way it works is that everybody, you call it the bid. It's like a Dutch auction.
Okay.
So people call their bid out and they either get accepted or rejected. And if they're rejected, that's it. They're done bidding.
Okay.
While I'm rooting around in her mind, does it seem like she's trying to, is she attempting to use us in any way, or put one over on us, or any form of malicious or non-benevolent intent towards us?
So she doesn't have any particular ill intent towards you. Digging down a bit further, you do get the fact that she received a communication prior to your arrival on Port Wanda that came from Anessa Pendergast, the Inquisitor, that basically said if Pierre Cowles comes asking for your help to get to his ship, basically, that it would resolve some past issues if she were to do that.
Interesting.
Issues surrounding her father.
So Pendergast is basically bribing her to help us out.
Yeah. But I mean, from the mind read, she didn't take that poorly. Like, it's not like she resents this or anything. It's just like, oh, okay, I probably will anyway, and I get to resolve whatever this thing my dad did anyway was in the past by doing this.
So win-win situation for her.
Yeah.
I mean, look, right now, the wifeability factor of Vanessa Pendergast is skyrocketing in my mind.
Man, look, I'm just saying, if this was a Mountain Blade, I would already paid like 40 grand. I just got it over.
I'm talking Cowles Pendergast Dynasty. Yeah.
I mean, you know.
All right. I don't share that information with anyone, but I definitely file it away.
There you go. Now he's thinking like a psycho. Yeah, you gotta keep some stuff to yourself, man. You gotta have that card.
That's right. You got to keep it all in your brain so that when your brain gets eaten by a demon, nobody knows.
Look, hey, take your secrets to the warp. All right, it's fine. What we don't know won't hurt Garth. That's the important thing.
I'm at the moment trying to determine if I want to bid what I want to bid.
I believe her plan of waiting to see what is accepted and what is not is a sound one.
So Nero's no longer part of this conversation, but out loud he says, "You have come with that object, Lord Captain Armelin."
Yes.
And that is what you intend to bid.
Yes. I mean,
allow me to point out, perhaps I am but a simple man who is not subject to the rigors of schooling of a noble trader like yourself, but if your bid isn't capable of changing, it simply does not matter whether one waits until the final bid or the first bid. If what you're bidding isn't going to change, knowledge of the other's bidding process will give you nothing.
That is an astute observation, keeping in mind that there are other things that I can offer that I can't necessarily bring here.
Ah, yes, I suppose that is true. I was wrong to question you.
Say, for example, I was to offer them one of my colonies, which is not something I would do, but there are other things like that would be relevant.
Yes, I also just have colonies available for offer, like yourself.
I just kind of lean into him. I sense you're lying.
I am 100% lying. I am just a... I mean, I
wasn't
look around and I'm like,
sensing anything
out
for
of
fun.
out of this conversation, I feel like I'm the only normal one.
I mean, you can see there are like merchants here in line that have like turned up with like big coffers that are guarded by armed soldiers. They're clearly like bringing lots of hard currency. I'm just gonna cash my way out of this problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's certainly like there's a lot of weapons now entering this sort of field because people are obviously defending whatever it is they're bringing into offer.
Yeah, but I'm not worried anymore. I assume that the Obsidian Emporium is capable of defending itself now that people have arrived.
Well, plus, I mean, as a player, I mean, all these guys look like, I mean, they're not like gangbangers. They're like, these are like professional security, like uptight, you know.
Ironically, the more guns that show up, the safer Nero feels.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a if shit were to happen.
I feel like if anyone starts shooting now, the whole room will start shooting back.
Well, yeah, you know, it gives the more targets there are, the less likely you are to be singled out and shot, right? Like, you know.
Of particular note, I'm keeping an eye out for Janko Scourge and Feckward, whatever the hell his name is.
So in the time between now and the end, a number of rogue traders turn up. So that includes Aoife Armengard, Haderach Fell, Sun Lee, Abel Garrett, Sarah Grimald, Jeremiah Blitz, Lord Admiral Bastille, Caligos Winterscale.
I can't keep up with these names. Basically everybody. Every rogue trader on the list is here.
Anyone who's anyone is here now.
Not Aspis Chorda.
Interesting.
List of.
But the thing is, even if they don't show up, could they have a representative show up in their stead and bid for them?
Potentially, yeah, exactly.
If they wanted to stay on the down low, I mean. So.
I mean, of the emails. Actually, let's double check. I've got my.
Can I attempt to pick up any new spheric traffic that might be happening?
Yeah, well, there's certainly people have brought along their some of their explorators were in their crew as such. So there's certainly communication going on. It's not so much searching, so to speak.
We're just talking shit about all the flesh bags. That's what we're doing.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like, do you believe this shit? Okay. Yeah, if it's nothing important, I'm just, you know, anything I might just happen to pick up on.
I'm just keeping an eye on Scourge and Feckward, and I'm ready to move forward if everybody else is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not really picking up on anything. I guess we wait and see, right?
Yeah. So at the appointed hour, the doors to the Obsidian Emporial open. There are a lot more of these sort of brutish guards around now as well. They've sort of all turned up to ensure order. The people are sort of, and there's no weapon check. You know, people are told they can freely enter with weapons, but the expectation is if you start something, we'll end it, basically.
Yeah.
There are the room itself is kept quite dark, so there is effectively like a light cast onto the stage where there's this lectern, which is the back of the lectern is filled with all sorts of mechanical gear. It's illuminated by a couple of wax candles on the lectern itself, and there's sort of like this one of those like mechanical type receipt machines that has like a whole like a string of receipts that sort of come out of it down the sort of length of the lectern that it has to be like mechanically cranked like an older accountant would use. There is sort of circular seating. A lot of the people that have like the armed men that have the actual stuff that's being bid go and stand at the back behind the seated tiers guarding their things, while the actual potential bidders and their guests go and sit down in the circular area. Do you want to sit near anyone in particular?
I think Pierre will still stick by Charlotte Bell.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries. At the once everybody is seated, there is a mechanical sound as a machine is sort of pushed into the room from the other side of the dome, which is sort of like a large hoist, suspended from which is half a man. His lower half of his torso is just trails off into cables and tubes that dangle from the hoist, and his entire left arm has been replaced with like a large mechanical gavel. He wears sort of like a hooded cloak over his head, and you can sort of see mechanical augmentation of his face as well. And this hoist basically lowers him into the lectern, and the various tubes and mechanics beneath him automatically sort of connect in, effectively making him an extension of the lectern. He sort of straightens up. His body, there's a large mechanical from his back sort of helps lift him his head and neck up, and you see he's got like a mechanical jaw and with like a set of tubes to feed oxygen to his body, and he sort of speaks through a loud hailer attached to the lectern. I welcome you all to the Obsidian Emporium. Voting will commence shortly for seats in the foretelling of the 7 witches. I am the intercessor. I will guide proceedings. Each individual will be allowed 1 vote. Your vote will either be accepted or rejected. If your vote is rejected, or your bid is rejected, you will be asked to leave immediately. If your bid is accepted, payment will be arranged at the end of proceedings. Bidding will end once 9 seats have been claimed or all bids have been cast. He bangs his gavel to begin proceedings.
I immediately shout my bid.
Okay, so what do you shout?
I shout, I am Nero, Julius Augustus Bullet, also known as Nero the Blade, of the Hand of Calixis. I bid a night of conversation and companionship with myself, a spread of sandwiches created by a noble artisan, and the contents of the twice locked chest of Nero the Blade.
All right. He considers, and he looks down to his little device, and he with one good hand taps away on the device and cranks.
Nero's already half standing to leave.
God, AP, you almost fucking killed me, dude. Fuck.
Rejected.
Yep. Lord Captain, I'll see you later.
Does he leave after that?
Yeah,
Just
absolutely leave. I go wait by the golf cart.
Yep. And like the next thing someone like yells out after him is like, I bid 10,000 thrones. And there's actually like, the rejection comes a lot faster than Nero's bid was rejected. Like it's sort of like, it's straight away, it's rejected. And the guy sort of goes to protest, and these brutes sort of come over and make it pretty clear that there's not going to be any dispute about leaving, and the guys quickly escorted out. I think that this is a good, before we go into the meat of the auction, this is a good place to probably take our break.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be back for the second half in about 8 minutes. Stick around, friends.